World-renowned cardiosurgeon Dr. V Jeevanandam of Chicago. More impressive than his performance of 1,000 plus heart transplants is his love of holy man Sri Satya Sai Baba and how Baba has transformed his life. Welcome to Soul Germs. This interview was recorded in the city of Chicago in June 2010.
Dr. V Jeevanandam, it's a pleasure to talk to you on Soul Germs today. I'm not sure where to begin, so you're going to have to help me. I've never met somebody before who's done perhaps more than 1,000 heart transplants, nor have I met somebody with such accomplishments from the field of medicine who's also on a profound spiritual path. Your teacher is Sai Baba. Which of those two subjects do you want to talk about first?
I'll talk about Sai Baba first because he set me on the path on whatever I have done in my profession. And I think in the twists about Sai Baba, both of them are very connected. And when Swami wants, when Sai Baba says come, you come in different pathways. And for me, I think it was heart transplant that actually ended up getting me to Puttaparthi and then getting me to see Swami. That was the way he attracted me. That was his magnet for me to come there, because I had to come there for a reason.
So back up, tell me the story. You didn't tell me about it.
Okay, want the whole story? Okay. So we had, a patient came to me in clinic, and he said that, he had had 3 previous operations, and he had a bad infection of one of his valves. So his valve was actually loose. And basically he was going to die unless someone tried to fix him up. And he'd gone to about 4 other hospitals, and everybody just said, you're too high risk. If we touch you, you're going to die. And actually some people said, if anybody operates on you, you're going to die. So just live your life for what you have and just accept it. And so he came to me and he said, well, they told me I needed to come and see you. So I said, okay, fine, we'll operate on you, yet understand the risk. So we're operating on him, and this case was about 4 hours into it, and we still even hadn't figured out where his heart was. I mean, that's how stuck he was, and this was a very, very difficult case. And I'm honestly thinking, okay, this time, maybe this is one of those things that you just kind of give up on, close him up, and say there's nothing you can do. So one of our anesthesiologists walks in now. She's a little bit of a Lulu bird there, so we don't necessarily listen to her all the time. And she's coming and she's starting to talk. And I was actually getting quite annoyed because we're frustrated in what's going on in the field, and this woman's talking. So she comes in and she goes, "Hey Val, do you know this guy's story?" And I'm like, "Okay, I don't know this guy's story. I want to know where his heart is." So she goes, "Well, I saw him in clinic, or I saw him, in pre-op, and he was telling me this story that he was driving in his car, and his heart basically went into a bad rhythm because his heart was so sick, and so he fainted at the wheel, and he hit a gas line."
Oh my goodness.
And they found him about 200 feet away from where his car had hit the gas line.
It exploded and blew him away?
And so they asked him, what was going on, and he said that somebody in an orange robe pulled him out of the car, and then the person in the orange robe told him to, a person is going to tell you where you're going to have surgery, go to that person because he will take care of you. And so the guy goes to the emergency room at a hospital. Now, I had just given a lecture to the people in that hospital about 3 days ago and told them about the high-risk things that we did. So a person came up to him right away and he said, "You have a really bad heart problem. There's one person who can take care of you. You need to go to the University of Chicago and have this person take care of you."
And it was you?
Well, yeah.
It had to have been. And this Lulu bird is chirping away, talking while you're trying to figure out where this patient's heart is.
Right.
And so, tell me more. Was there an eventual outcome that was pleasing to the patient?
Well,
Did he survive?
so she's telling me this, and I'm listening in the back of my ear, and I'm saying, "My God, she's talking about Swami." So Swami came, saved this person from a gas main leak,
so that he could get to you.
Told him to come to me, And why am I feeling that I can't do this when he clearly wants me to get this done?
Work harder, dig deeper.
There you go. Exactly what I said. I said, you better, get off your duff and don't get so depressed and get this guy fixed. So, and after that, remarkably, we kind of found the right planes and everything went well. We operated on him. He actually did great. And he went home.
That's an amazing story.
And then...
and you didn't think of telling us this story yourself?
And then, a while later, I was telling this story to a Sai group, and they said, you need to confirm this. You need to see if you actually saw Swami. I said, well, I'm not going to go confirming this. So he came back to clinic, and our clinic is located about half a mile away from my actual office. Mm-hmm. And so they're a generic clinic, so we don't have any pictures or anything like that. Yeah. And so he was supposed to come to clinic, and my clinic is in the morning till 11 o'clock. And he couldn't make it because of the weather, so he came around 12:30. And so I was already in my office, which is on another building, and that's my personal office, so I have Swami's pictures all over the place. Mm-hmm. And so the guy comes late, and he said that he was supposed to get up at 8 o'clock. His alarm clock didn't go off. He only got up at like 10, and so he's late, and he apologized, and he said, hey, can I just see you? And usually I'm busy, and I don't like to do that, but I said, fine, come on over to the office. Actually, even, nobody in university likes to have patients come over to the hospital. So he comes in my office, and lo and behold, my office, we have a lot of pictures of Sai Baba. So he
walks through the
door, he says, hey, how do you know that guy? He's the one who pulled me out of the car.
Oh, come on.
Oh, no.
That's just a fantastic
story.
So
you can see how I couldn't have told you this story if you had come on time and seen me in my generic clinic, because I never would have asked him about Sai Baba.
Of course. Well, all I can think of, and maybe this is a good place for us to take an intermission until Chapter 2 next year when we're in Chicago to visit you. And the last comment is,
and there are many, many stories. I give you a couple of really short ones. I mean, it was funny. We used to have these cardiovascular symposia, and I had a camera. I was trying to take his picture, and every single time I was taking this picture, I had an autofocus camera, and it was about 15 feet away. The camera working perfectly. You try to take a picture of him, it just goes to infinity, and it just kept going to infinity, and I couldn't take a picture of him. And later on, we were having dinner, and he came up, and he says, "Your camera. What was wrong with your camera?"
So he knew.
And I said, well, Swami kept going to infinity. And he looked and he said, I'm infinity.
That's a great one. Another one.
And so...
Another question. Who is Sai Baba?
Well, I think Sai Baba is different to a lot of people. Okay, to me, he has opened the doors for me to see him as God. Now, some people may think that's far-fetched, and then people say, what is the definition of God? Mm-hmm. So for me, God is somebody who is with me, who's guiding me, and protects me when I need protection, and gives me support. Now, some people may say, well, that's too far-fetched. He's not God. So I tell them, I said, okay, fine. You don't have to think of him as God, and that's okay. But if you think of him as a person, think of how magnificent a person he is. He doesn't ask you for your money. Matter of fact, if you try to give him money, he's going to give it back to you, or he's not going to take it. He doesn't live in luxury. He lives a very, very Spartan life. He comes out, he gives darshan, even though he may be in pain from a back injury or a broken hip or whatever. He rarely misses darshan. And look what he's done. He's created a university that is, free of cost, and has created, thought leaders in the world. He's created a hospital system that is giving free care to the poorest people imaginable. He's given water to countless amounts of people, and he does that for no real recognition. He's not doing it because he wants his name put up in billboards.
In fact, he shuns publicity. I twice asked him, can I take his name to America? And his answer was short and sweet. No, take my love, take my mission to America.
And I had the opportunity where the Discovery Channel was following me because I went there to operate, and he basically said, no, they're not ready for this. So he didn't want that to be publicized.
That's amazing.
So certainly he shuns the publicity. So you look at somebody who lives Spartan life, who shuns publicity, and only thing he hasn't asked of anybody other than for us to give love to him and to mankind. He hasn't asked for material goods, and yet all he does is spread his love. And so when you look at it from that point of view, you can call him God, you can call him not God, but he is an incredibly great man who's transformed so many souls. So whatever you call him, he is something that is you just can't see in anybody else in the world.
Your mom must be very